I'm embarrassed. I literally did not know who she was until about a month ago. So I've been super behind. Quick little background of her. She is this amazing woman who was homeless at 30 years old, living in the San Francisco airport, which is wild. Like, even just me like really imagining what that must have been like. Just that's in itself. I want her to write a book just about her journey doing that. Like, that would be kind of cool to see how she did it and how she survived. Mark Cuban has invested in her fund. I believe her fund is called Backstage Capital. Okay, so Backstage Capital. I also put this on my community tab. You're going to want to make sure to screenshot this. Okay, so if you look up every single person on this whole lineup, on this agenda, it's like a master class in itself. Has her own fund and has worked with all these multimillionaires, you know, billionaires, and has gathered all these amazing individuals to collect masterminds, people that are like the 5-figure section and want to bump up to the 6-figure, want to bump up to the 7-figure, and just kind of can't like really crack that ceiling. That's what this event is really about. There's 3 things that I've learned so far. So there's been 2 days. Number 1 thing that I've learned so far, and the end one is the biggest one. So you're going to want to make sure to listen to the end, because the end is the biggest one to me, which I'm like, is what I needed to hear. So it might be something that you need to hear as well. Number 1 is that when you're going through the entrepreneurial journey, the biggest thing that you can do is stop doing certain things. So instead of having like a checklist, a to-do list, a strategy list, a methods list, have a list of, and I've actually alluded to this before in another one of my videos about not looking at social media anymore and not eating certain things and not being in certain environments. And the way that one of the speakers said it, his name is Humble. He's amazing. Because, okay, let me back up. So the way that the question was presented to him, they were like, well, what's on your, like, what's like some practical things, like your you know, your story's so inspirational, this is motivational, this is, you know, powerful, but like, what are some actual points, like step-by-step points that people can take away from this conversation? And I loved what he said, because this is such my vibe. Like, this is such my style, what he just said. He said, I can give that to you. Like, I can tell you, okay, step by step, this is what you do. This is what you do to be an entrepreneur. This is how you stay being an entrepreneur. These are, you know, 7 steps to da-da-da-da-da-da. But like, that's on the internet. Like, we know all this, right? Like, the internet is filled with millions upon millions of strategies, step by step, 10 steps to this, 8 steps to this, the blueprint, the roadmap. So he was like, I can do that, but like, what I really want you to do is not do things, is not do certain things anymore. And that, I just was like, oh my gosh, I resonate with that so much, because it really is the power of what your future, your very immediate future is going to look like, is what you don't do. We all have to-do lists up the woo-ha. This little piece is like, okay, boom. So we all have to-do lists up the woo-ha, okay? So you don't need to know how to do another to-do list. It's what you don't do. So it's who you don't hang out with anymore, right? What you stop doing. It's the stop doing list. It's the don't do anymore list. So stopping eating certain things that's not going to get you to your body goals. Stop wasting your time looking at content that's not pouring into your business. Stop listening to repetitive banter about celebrity gossip. Stop drinking so much. Stop smoking so much. Stop. It's what you don't do anymore that ends up giving you the plethora of time to do the to-do list that we already all know how to do. Like, there's literally resources on Google. It's called, like, I gotta actually go back in my archive of my lists, but it's basically, Google actually gives free courses out, like free certificates. If you type in Google courses or Google certificates, it's literally free, full-on courses that you can take, given by Google, where it's like how to start a business, how to become a copywriter, how to become a ghostwriter. Like, it's wild. I love that he didn't take his time to say, okay, well, step number 1 is this. Like, if you can't figure out how to do step 1 through 20 just by like doing a simple Google search, that's a whole nother conversation. It's like, keep up. It's really what people are obsessed with doing, that have addictions, that have vices, that have individuals in their life, that have just all the things that we know we shouldn't be doing. That's really what he was driving home. So that was the first thing that I learned from going to the Your First Millionaire or Million event. Number two is not really something that I learned from the speakers, but I was really being observant at this event. I was really looking at who was there, the conversations, people's mannerisms, people's behavior. I just was like sitting back and kind of like doing a zoom out. Okay, the speakers are amazing, but who are all these people? What do they have in common? What I think is so amazing about these events is that it brings you in person with other people that are going through your same struggle. And so it was just so cool to see people connecting over the same boat, right? Like even if it wasn't the same type of entrepreneurial industry, it's like, okay, well, let's link up together and like work together. Or oh, you have a problem with that too? I don't really know how to, like, if I have an LLC or not, or understanding what a limited liability is, like, why don't we do a course together? Like people were just, kind of remind me of like what little kids do in kindergarten, where they just like automatically find a friend and then like now they're friends over the crayon box. That's what it reminded me of. And it was just such a beautiful thing to see. And I think that COVID kind of like broke that up. And then now that we're on the other side of COVID, it's just cool to see people with like-minded, same motivations, same struggles, just like that expansive, wanting to evolve type of energy. And when you're just in that room, like sitting in the audience with other women, because people are go-getters. Like the people on the stage are multimillionaires, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was tons of millionaires sitting in the audience too, but they're trying to like break past like a certain ceiling. So it was interesting to see. It was mainly women, but there was some men in there, different ages, different colors. So it was just cool to see like the group, and just seeing that, like, we think that, oh, well, the world is so bad, and people this and people that, and people just are out to get each other, and da-da-da. But like, it depends on what environment that you put yourself in, because there's definitely beautiful connections happening at the same time. It just depends on what grid you are plugging yourself into. So for example, I go to a club and people are fighting at the club, and that's all I do. I just go to work and go to the club, and then there's like always drama, or people are always getting too drunk, or people are always acting crazy or too rowdy, or there's an issue after the club, whatever. Then that's my perception of what life is like, or people are like, or groups of people are like. But when you plug yourself into people that are building community, wanting to level up, wanting to educate themselves, a permanent student of life, mastering their craft, becoming a master of their craft, refining their craft. When you're in that environment, it just kind of opens you up to, you know what? We think that the world we live in now is just nothing like, no, there's beautiful people all over the place. You just have to plug yourself into the right areas. So if you are in, I don't care if it's a small community or a bigger metropolitan, cosmopolitan city, look up different activities or look up different events going on in your area and go to them. Just, surprise yourself. I have been going to events like this off and on for many, many years. And, every time I go, even if I don't meet anyone new, I just always get up leveled just being in the environment of opulence, being in the environment of people, having these huge ideas, amazing ideas, just being in the room with people that have had a rags to riches story, rags to multimillionaire, rags to doors that you would never even imagine them being in, or that they never imagined themselves being in. Like, just being in that energy and that aura, like, I'm going to put a little spiritual spin on it. It's like you can't help but pick up on it. So it's just like when you go into a lounge or a club or a place where there's music, and you just automatically are like, depending on what the music is like, you automatically are vibrating on whatever genre of music is. That's kind of how it is with these kind of events. Like, there may not be music playing the whole time, but there's like a symphony of energy that's like just hovering in the environment, and you just are automatically a part of it. Just plugged into that up-leveled type of go-getter. That's why I call my page Embodypursuit. Like, we're constantly in pursuit of that next level embodiment, right? Right when you hit a certain level, it's like, boom, there's another one that you're going to be cracking open. Like, there's a ceiling, and there's another ceiling that you're going to be seeing through. You embody. And embody means you not only just like practice some things, or you practice some strategies, or you practice some methods. No, you are embodied. You know, when Michael Jackson is on the stage, what was on the stage, or Beyonce is on the stage and she turns into Sasha Fierce, like she is embodied. It's not like oh, I'm acting like Sasha Fierce. Like, no, she is Sasha Fierce. Like Beyonce is backstage. When she gets on the stage, it's Sasha Fierce, right? So that's kind of like how it is every time you get to your next embodiment. If you are feeling down in life and you're feeling like you know, you don't really like the friends that you're with, or you know, or you feel like you're plateaued with the friends or family that you're with, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the honest truth. I feel very comfortable saying this at my stage in life, is anyone can get cut, including family. And let me explain. The only privileges that my family has that are blood related to me is if there is an emergency, it's all hands on deck. I'm getting up at 3 a.m. and I will be there right by your side. I'll be the first person there, period. And everyone knows that about me. But other than that, if you are negative energy, drama, constantly bringing people down, backhanded compliments, kind of like this like underlying, constantly offending people, you all have those family members. I just don't have to be around you. I can love you from afar and I will hold you down if and hopefully there's no issues, but if and when there is some serious life altering moments, I'm going to be there. But other than that, I don't have to be around you all the time. So if I can do that with my family, that goes for friends too. That goes for associates. That goes for coworkers. That goes with people in your community, or people in your sorority, people in, you know, whatever group that you're a part of. You don't have to be beholden. You can plug yourself into the type of people that you really want to be around. Sometimes seasons are just done. Like they max out, they plateau, and sometimes it's not them, it's you. Like maybe you're not leveling up quick enough for them, and so they might have to back off from you. Right? There's always going to be an ending to every single type of relationship. And that really unlocked for me when my grandmother passed away. I'm like, okay, wow, this grandmother relationship has now come to an end. Even though it felt like we're just going to be alive to the end of time together. But like when that ended, it really just bursted me open with like, okay, this life thing is real. Like everything is going to have a season, and it could be a couple of hours. It could be passing in the hallway. Women usually have like cute little conversations for 5 minutes in a bathroom, and that could be a tiny season that you're supposed to have a quick conversation with someone. It could be 7 years. It can be 80 years. It could be 7 months and 6 days. Like everything eventually is going to cap out and come to an end. It's okay to unplug yourself from certain environments that do not up-level you and do something different. Number 3, it's one of the easiest things that we all know, but only 1% of the 1% actually do it. That's why there's such a big wealth gap. Every single person that's been on the stage so far, and this is the last day, so I'm gonna get even more downloads and unlockings and all that, and I'm gonna do another video about this, like a whole vlog of it. So you're gonna want to make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and make sure to watch that next video when I upload it. All of the people that I've seen speak so far, I was trying to draw a common thread between all of them. They all have rags to riches stories. They all have these crazy moments and ups and downs. They all have these stories about when they were told no a million times. They all have these. So I'm like, okay, you know, like we get it. This is why they're multimillionaires. They didn't stop. They just didn't stop. Like this Humble. Please go to his page. I think I found him on Instagram. If you just type in Humble, he should come up because his stories are wild. But when he was explaining it, he's like, you know, he's from Africa, literally lived on the dirt. Family finally sought out asylum, came to America. His mom died. And then on the way to his mom's funeral, his dad had a heart attack on the way to the mom's funeral. And all this stuff, like literally dirt to multimillionaire. Like not even like rags. Like it was like dirt to multimillionaire. His main theme, and then I like linked it to the next person that spoke, and then the next person, and then Issa Rae. She's amazing. I love her. I like how she thinks. So that's what's cool about this event too. So Issa Rae, that was my favorite speech. Really all of them were kind of my favorite speech for like different reasons, but I get why she's where she's at. When I threaded all of, it's like, okay, what's the major theme so far? It's they didn't stop. Every time you think it's not working, 99.999% will stop. This is just not working. After 2 months, after 3 months, after 6 months, after 8 years. And these people, they just didn't stop. So it was like, even though they didn't see results until, like Arlan, she didn't even become a millionaire. So she went from, she's 43, so she's 30, she's 43 now. She didn't even get her fund going until 3 years ago. So like it took a decade for like something to finally pop off. So 10 years to finally pop off. And then in the 3 years, it like grew exponentially to like now multi-million, her Backstage Capital fund, where, you know, Mark Cuban has vested in all the, and like other billionaires have invested in her fund. Issa Rae, it's like, she literally was like, I was in my apartment. I was like, I got a phone, I got paper, I got a pencil, like, and then it was like, you know, of course, her whole story of like being told no a million times and and they just didn't stop. So it's like they're tapping into something. Even, you know, Humble from Africa, it's like he could have been like, I made it to America, I'm just gonna get a basic job and I'm just thankful to be out of, family was fitting for our life kind of danger. But like something, it's like they're tapping into future human being version of themselves. Like if you think of like a video game character, and like, you know, when you're a video game character, it's like the avatar version, and like there's all these like muscles, and you know, you have all these powers, and you like don't really learn how much the character can do until you like go to each level, and then you like unlock different levels of skills as you like keep beating each level. We all have that level 1000 avatar video game character, but we're like, well, we're not really that character. It's just like an imagination thing. But it's almost like they know that they're living that out today, even though they don't know when the physical reality of experiencing that is actually going to, when that's going to happen. It's like for example, Issa Rae couldn't have known that she was going to be on the Barbie movie 10-15 years later, and she was in a whole different lane, and then she got that opportunity. So it's like there's things that keep getting unlocked. Again, embodypursuit, you're always pursuing that next embodiment level, and then you break that next level, and then you embody the next level, and then you pursue that next level, and then you embody that next level. It's like you don't even know the potential because you have to go through the level to then unlock the power. But it's like people want the power, they want like the cheat code day, but like you can't get them until you like just keep going through the battles. And then the battles usually make people want to stop because it's like, well, it's just too hard, I'm too defeated, I'm tired, I don't have resources, I don't have money, no one believes in me. They allow the variables that are uncontrollable to take over, instead of like what everybody else did was they just honed in on what they had, and then they maximized what they had, even if it was 2 nickels to rub together. I love what Issa Rae said, and have told myself about my YouTube channel. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, you just do the most extraordinary things and tap into the best way you maximize what you do have. There's the illusion of overnight success, but it's not really, that's not the case. They were doing all these like refining. They kept going, and then all of a sudden, boom, it takes off. And then now they've embodied that level, and then they have another unlocking, refining, getting better. And then they have another boost off, right?